Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Hey, folks, today's Monday, December 1st, 2025, coming up on Roland Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. We're here in Atlanta for the Global Hope Forum 2025. It kicks off tonight in just an hour. It's going to be talking about crypto, Bitcoin, all the digital currencies. Also entertainment, Deborah Cox as well. Lots of things that are happening over the next couple of days. Bishop T.D. Jakes, among others, will be speaking here at this annual conference, and we'll have more over the next couple of days. Also on today's show, Indiana Republicans are moving forward with a gerrymandering. They will destroy 2 Democratic seats. One of them, Congressman Andre Carson of Indianapolis. So we'll tell you about that, but it's not guaranteed it's going to happen. Also, Axios talks about the attack on Black history. We'll talk with their Midwest editor about how Donald Trump's Pentagon has banned nearly 600 books by African-American authors. Also, on today's show, we'll break down the Fox News back in the culture war gutter. And so, you don't want to miss this absolute foolery. Also, an appeals court makes it perfectly clear that Donald Trump's attorney general in New Jersey, appointed illegally, cannot serve as a U.S. attorney for that area. Plus, Georgia Republicans' youngest Black executive committee member resigns after trying to hook up with a 14-year-old boy. That and more. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got whatever the best, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
This is a live look at the 2025 Global Hope Forum. Thousands of people have registered for this conference, focusing on economics and its impact on our community. Over the next couple of days, we're going to be sharing with you a number of stories and interviews from here, talking to a variety of folks. And so we look forward to sharing that with you. This is probably the 8th or 9th year to actually broadcast from Global Hope Forum, and so we look forward to doing so. All right, folks, let's talk about politics. In Indiana, Republicans unveiled a new congressional map that, if passed, would remove all Democrats in Indiana in 2026. Right now, the delegation is 7-2 Republican to Democrat. Their map would make it 9-0, eliminating 2 Democratic seats, including that of one of Congressman Andre Carson. Now, this is a dramatic effort. Frank Mervar's district in northwest Indianapolis would also change. Under the map, Berrien County, which includes Indianapolis, is a major Democratic stronghold, will be divided into 4 districts to dilute both Democratic and Black voting power. Remember, Republicans in Tennessee did the exact same thing with Nashville. The most significant political change in the 2021 congressional map struck by Republicans as the 2020 census strengthened the GOP's hold on central Indiana's 5th district. Joining me now from Hammond, Indiana, is State Representative Carolyn Jackson, Vice Chair of the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus. Representative Jackson, glad to have you on the show. Now, here's the deal. It's not etched in stone. We have emergency 2 Republicans, senators, who have said that they are not going to support this effort. And so what we've understood, and please let us know, do Republicans actually have the votes? We know that Donald Trump has been targeting them, inviting them to the White House. One Republican said, wait a minute, this violates the Hatch Act. So what's the likelihood of this new map passing?
You know, I think that there is a very strongly likelihood that this map will pass. However, we just got the information literally a couple of hours ago, and we are in the process of going through it, looking to see where we can try to stop and to try to file amendments and do what we can to let our community's voices be heard. Because clearly, Hoosiers have already spoken. They have said that they do not want the maps redrawn. There are quite a few senators who have voted against it. However, I don't know if you know it or not, but they have been targeted with bomb threats, with the swatting, and all kinds of things like that to try to force them to change their mind. But the question is, once it leaves the House, should it pass the House, which I feel it will they continue to hold to their word of voting against it?
Yeah, because for a while there, you had Indiana Republicans that said, sorry, we're not moving forward. They were adamant against it. Donald Trump kept putting pressure, inviting them to the White House. And then all of a sudden, that began to change. Cracks began to appear. Like I say, 2 Republican state senators right now on record are saying they're not going to support this. There were hundreds of people who were at the Capitol today protesting this action as well.
That is correct. And with those people coming out and protesting, contacting their state legislators and letting them know that they are not for this, I hope that the legislators will listen to their constituents, because their constituents don't want this. They know it's wrong. They know it's cheating. And they know that the only reason why we're in session now is to carry Donald Trump's water, basically.
So how are African Americans being rallied in Indiana to be against this map? Obviously, they're in Indianapolis. As I said at the outset, what Republicans in Indiana want to do with Indianapolis is exactly what Republicans in Tennessee did. They carved up Nashville into 4 separate districts, splitting that up, guaranteeing that there would not be a Democratic member of Congress from Nashville. That's what they're trying to do with Indianapolis.
Yes, voters are angry and very upset. We had voters come down from Northwest Indiana, which is about a 2.5 or 3 hour drive. I don't know if you know it, but it's snowing here. The weather is bad. We've had a lot of unsafe conditions on the highway, but they came down here anyway to speak up, speak out, to let their voices be heard, to say, no, we don't want this. I have not had not one of my constituency contact me and say, Representative Jackson, I certainly want you to support the redistricting. I have not had one. My phones have been blowing up, and all of them say the same thing: no redistricting. The same thing with my colleagues who are in Indianapolis. Not one of them has received a telephone call or email or any correspondence saying, please, please redistrict. They're all saying, no, we don't want a redistricting done. This is unprecedented, and we know it's cheating. It is specifically done to liquefy our votes and to liquefy our voice. I'm sorry. They don't want to hear what we have to say.
Well, and obviously one of the issues that people are looking at, the violation of the Voting Rights Act, that's one of the issues that we have. But again, Republicans, they're looking at Republicans right now. The Supreme Court is looking at a case, and so we don't know if the VRA is going to even have that impact. And so we're waiting that Supreme Court decision. And so if the Supreme Court rules against, frankly, Section 2, this case out of Louisiana, that could greatly impact the ability to fight these gerrymandered maps, these racist gerrymandered maps in federal court.
Absolutely. But the reality is what they're doing is it's unlawful, it's illegal, and they don't care. They're doing everything they can to force to their way and wait for the results later, hoping that it gets to the Supreme Court where Donald Trump has all his cronies there, where they can say, no, it's okay for you all to do this. That's just basically wrong. but that's what it appears to me and to a lot of the people here in Indianapolis.
All right, then. Well, look, keep up the fight, and we'll be following this to see what happens next.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Gonna go to a break. We'll be right back right here. Roland Mark Unfiltered on the Black Star Network, live from Global Hope Forum here in Atlanta. Back in a moment.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, in higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Are you ready for the holidays? This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking about all things anxiety and the holidays, whether it's performance anxiety, presence versus presence, making certain that everybody in your space understands the boundaries and how to respect your home. This week, we're talking about those things that will allow you to have a peaceful holiday season.
It really is not about perfection. It's really about, you know, the house feeling warm and cozy and peaceful.
You don't have to like everybody, but what you can do is be cordial in those environments.
That's all this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
What's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching my brother Roland Martin Unfiltered as we go a little something like this. Hit it. It's real. All right, folks, want to bring up our panel joining us today on the show. Cameron Trimble. Cameron, of course, formerly worked in the Biden administration, digital director there. CEO, Hip Politics Media. Also, Thelma Lawyer Bay Anderson, author of Shut Up and Prosecute. Glad to have both of you on the show. First of all, Cameron, I'll start with you. I mean, this is a clear battle. What we're seeing, Republicans are scared to death they're going to lose the House next year. Donald Trump's approval rating per Gallup is now down to 36%. And so their whole deal is they got to steal as many seats, create as many Republican seats as possible, because they think they're going to lose anywhere from 10 to 15 seats next year. That's what this is all about. And Democrats have to fight this tooth and nail. The problem that we still have is this right-wing Supreme Court.
Yes, hearing about what's happening in Indiana, and just for full disclosure, both of them, I'm highly connected to both of those seats. My parents actually live in the district represented by Andre Carson, and have worked with him for years. And we actually worked on some ads and stuff up in Northwest Indiana for Frank Marvan, which includes Gary, Indiana, obviously a place many people know as the home of the Jacksons. And to think that Indiana could go from those two seats and those two representatives to potentially no Democratic representation, when the Hoosier state has a strong history of Democrats, even going back as far as Democratic governors and Democratic senators, for them to gerrymander in district that they're seeing the pushback, but I don't think people will stand for it. But it just shows how how treacherous this game is and how 2026 could be a completely rigged playing field come election day. So I'm really hoping that they don't get those votes in the state house. But if they do, it is not a foregone conclusion we'll lose them, even if they split up Indianapolis. But that just means that we're going to have to get even more voter turnout throughout the state.
Thelma, look, what has happened to Republicans is crazy. 9 Republicans have been swatted. They're getting death threats. And this, we've talked about this beforehand. Republicans, a lot of them are scared to death of Donald Trump and his MAGA supporters because this is the kind of heinous actions that they will do. They will literally threaten the lives of these people if they don't do what Donald Trump wants them to do. Bill, I think you're muted. Unmute your mic. All right, so we got to figure out what's happening with Thelma's audio, and so let's do this here. Take a quick break. Y'all fix your audio, and then we'll come back right here in Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Can you all hear me?
Violent white supremacy is, quote, the most persistent and lethal threat in the homeland.
The greatest terrorist threat to the homeland is the homegrown violent restraint, including hate crime committed on behalf of some kind of white supremacist ideology.
They are coming after everything in Black America. MAGA and Donald Trump are specifically targeting Black America. They are going after the money. Attack Black Lives Matter. Attack critical race theory, attack woke, DEI. MAGA wants to defund Black America. This is a perfect example of their desire to completely degrade and de-emphasize Black people.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Our legal roundtable is back in session as we look at yet another potential landmark case being considered by the United States Supreme Court. This one is called 303 Creative versus Alennis and may be the most important and far-reaching First Amendment, that is freedom of speech, case of our time. It could, depending on how the court rules, open the door for a return of Jim Crow segregation laws. It's true.
If you say we can discriminate against one, you're saying we can discriminate against all.
That's on the next Black Table. Don't miss it. Right here on the Black Star Network.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Mr. Dalvin right here. What's up? This is KC. Sitting here representing the JODECI. That's Jodeci. Right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back. So, Thelma, Lawyer Bay Anderson, do we have your audio? Hopefully it's working now. Thelma, can you hear me? Okay, guys, I need to know guys, I need a shot of Thelma. I don't understand how we had her in the break, but we don't have her now. All right, okay. So, Cameron, let me ask Cameron a couple of questions. Y'all, get this fixed now. Cameron, this is the nightmare scenario that too many Democrats were not paying attention to in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was running for president. Too many Democrats and progressives ignored the critically important, how important the Supreme Court was. And they downplayed it. Now, all of a sudden, they're now seeing what happens when you have a right-wing Supreme Court, a 6-3 majority, 5 that are hardcore right-wing, really 6, and the rolling back of rights could have a devastating impact for the next 50 years. This is what people need to understand.
Yes, I think we didn't anticipate that some of the norms that were consistently broken by the Republican Party over the year in order to pack the Supreme Court, the fact that they withheld Obama's last appointment, the fact that they rushed through, even after Joe Biden did win the 2020 election, to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they rushed through another appointment, the fact that they were hyper intentional on getting justices that I believe are in their 40s, knowing these are lifetime appointments. And then I'm even hearing that they may potentially be pressuring some of the older justices now to try to get them rotated out during Donald Trump's tenure. Here in that it's a funny day when Chief Justice Roberts seems like the most moderate conservative on the court, but they are consistently rubber stamping so many different rights and so many different things that we just didn't think were, quite frankly. And also, Roland, the nightmare scenario for, I think, Democrats and just actually free voters around the country is that we don't really pay attention to these state legislatures. We have not had our 10 and 20 year state legislator strategy to really understand that so much power is being pushed back into the states where one party disproportionately controls that power around the country. So when something like this happens in Indiana, where I'm sure it is not a 9-0 Republican to Democrat in terms of makeup of the state, it feels like that way. And now so many voters don't feel represented or don't feel like they can have their vote is going to count as much because they won't have the adequate representation they need throughout the state. So this is something that we need to, and I would say the Democratic Party, but also just independents and just voters around the country need to pay attention to and prepare for our next 5, 10, 15 years state level strategy all the way up to the Supreme Court.
All right, Thelma, do we now have your audio?
I believe so.
Finally, it's fixed. All right, the question I specifically asked you is that this is an issue Republicans are facing. MAGA, the people are crazy and deranged. Republicans in Indiana, they've been swatted. They've gotten death threats. And these folks who support Donald Trump, this is how they're going to conduct themselves. And hopefully you're going to have some Indiana Republican senators who have the guts to stand up and say, no, we're not going to bow down to these fascists.
Honestly, I doubt that is going to happen. I doubt that they're going to have the balls, because if they did, we wouldn't be right where we are right now with these individuals having to deal with what we as individuals who probably are Democrat, we deal with this all the time, especially with this type of leadership and this stronghold that this man have on the delusion that is within the Republican Party. I honestly don't believe that anybody got the balls, the guts, anything to say enough is enough. We got to go back to the principles and what this country actually stands on, and not on the principles of the orange Cheeto man that has so much that we can really get into. But I think they're all afraid. They all look like they are in fear, but nobody wants to do anything about it.
But also, Thelma, I think this is where Democrats have to understand they have to play hardball. They have to understand that this is about power. These folks want power. You can't reason with this. So you've got to fight for power, to take power from them the same way they're trying to hold power.
Yes. I believe the same way that MAGA targeted their base by fueling that what was already built in them, the Democrats got to do the exact same thing. We are tired of them sitting on the sidelines, being mute and some of them not cute. But we are tired of them sitting on the sidelines, letting them run this country into the ground. You got to stick up. You got to stand firm. You got to hold the line. And that's simply what the Democrats are missing. I'm hopeful that they are getting information like Beyonce, because if they continue down this road, we are going to continue to fall behind, and people's rights cannot afford them sitting on the sidelines like they have done these past few years.
And that particular point there, Cameron, I've been making it clear to people that what we have to understand, again, this is about the next 50 to 100 years. What you're seeing from MAGA, from these Republicans, it is white fear. My whole book is about that. The whole book is about white fear. And what they have to understand is what we're dealing with here is that they are afraid of the browning of America. And so all of these attacks have a direct result on the power, the political power of black people, the political power of Latinos. And Latinos had better wake the hell up. We don't give a damn about them either. But this is absolutely a massive attack on black America and our future.
Yes, this is something that unfortunately black folks have gone through before, but I don't think this kind of power and this kind of grab for minority, specifically for black political power, black economic power, black voting power, has happened since the Reconstruction. So we're talking well over 100 plus years since we've seen this type of stripping away of our power. And the problem is, while it's happening right in our face, I feel like it's happening still kind of quietly, piece by piece, where we are not rising up. We're not doing as much as we can to stop it. And we're going to look up, and it's going to be, we won't have many places of recourse, because as if the highest court in the land is backing this and setting precedent and setting legal precedent that every other lower court controls and upholds, then that means when we do try to sue our way into some of these rights backs, when we do try to wrestle back some of these rights backs on a federal and a state level, we won't really have the legal recourse to do so. So this is an opportunity now where I think state by state, Democratic power, black leadership, black political power needs to stand up, because we can't look past 2026 and say, oh, we'll hope for the 2028 election. The 2028 election will not be here. We will not have the same votes power or checks, or the proper checks and balances to even be able to hold on to the little bit of power we still do have.
But here's the thing here, Thelma, that I think people understand. There was a case that originated out of Arkansas. It's not been affirmed by a conservative appeals court. And in that particular case, they argued that only the Department of Justice can file voting rights lawsuits. That means that if this lawsuit goes all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court affirms that lower court decision, that means that the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, Transformative Justice Coalition, Black Voters Matter, ACLU, Mark Elias's group, that third-party groups cannot file voting rights lawsuits if this holds. And this is what I'm trying to get our people to understand. I saw a video earlier today, and I can't stand, Thelma, all those pop the balloon shows. But there was a pop the balloon show, and a sister asked the brother whether he voted. And he started going on about some bullshit, and she was like, no, hell no. He popped a balloon. She's like, hell no. And he was like, my vote don't count on the federal level, but I believe in voting local. And then he meant to say municipal, but he actually said medicinal, and he said that. And what was crazy to me is that this brother, a middle-aged brother, was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And people need to understand how real this is. And I have been saying this. This is a massive assault on black America. They want to defund black America. They're going after every institution in black America. And folk who want to sit out and act like voting don't matter, they're outside of their damn minds.
This is for real. This is a massive war we are engaged in.
The one issue that I have mostly with our people is we saw this coming and we got too comfortable. When you look back at our ancestors, and even when we go back to the civil rights movement, they was not getting comfortable. They were mobilizing. They were making sure that they utilized their power, resources, connections in order for us to mobilize to make sure we had our rights. And now we get to this point where we're sitting on the fucking sideline and watching what our people worked so damn hard for and also lost their lives in order for us to be in this position. We can't be comfortable. This is not going to be comfortable because we utilize those years to forget the fact that how we got here. And that's one of the main reasons why I started to utilize my platform, knowing that, yes, I have the legal knowledge, but I also got the street knowledge. I also know how to articulate in order to speak to my people so that they can understand the urgency and the importance. I don't know what kind of steps they missed, but we ain't got now another step to fucking miss because we missed those steps years ago. Now we're here fighting from behind instead of fucking ahead.
Cameron, you're talking to a younger demo. And I'm telling you right now, 1835 had better wake their asses up because, listen, in 20 years, 18 is going to be 38. 35 is going to be 55. And listen, they don't understand. If they hit civil rights, economic rights, start limiting books, education, every facet, we're talking about literally Jim Crow 2.0. Now, you won't have separate water fountains, but you are going to have a completely different America. And it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to advance in that America if folk don't wake up. And I'm telling you, I hope, I pray with this midterm elections, we see a massive, massive turnout. I'm talking about turnout akin to how black people voted after the 65 Voting Rights Act. Because all these people, they do not understand the execution of Project 2025. They do not understand how serious these folks are about limiting and getting rid of nearly everything that has advanced black America over the last 60 years.
I'm glad you brought that up, Roland. Like that 18 to 25 are really 17 to 35 because those folks that are going to turn 18 and be eligible to vote in next year's elections. Here's the thing, though. We've got to meet people where they are. As much as we who are in the political bubble, these are who are a little more civically engaged, folks who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s and older, who've seen how these rights have shifted, understand and often understand the power of voting. That is why older demographics usually vote in larger chunks. But I've talked to so many young, especially young black men and young Latino men of color who say, hey, under Donald Trump, under Barack Obama, the hood was still the same. So we've got to still give people and meet them where they are to let them know what is at stake. And I think that is where we can't take for granted and say and scare people into saying, America's going to get so much worse for it. It's pretty bad for so many folks already. They don't see those paths to economic leadership. They don't see those paths to making money. They don't see those paths to successful careers. And they see those things dwindling and dwindling. And then you layer that on with social media and how many different things are there to distract our attention. You mentioned the balloon game, all these different things that are popping up and competing for our attention. It's easy for folks to get caught into a malaise of entertainment on their phone and not understand the power of why they need to vote, and not just them vote, and empower their entire crew to go out and vote, empower their homies and their homegirls to go out and vote. We've got to really educate people on what's at stake, and as bad as things may be now, or people may perceive them to be, how much worse they can be. Because you often hear, like, this is going to be the most important election of our lifetime. You can only say that to people, but so often. And then when they don't see those resources, they do vote and don't see those resources come back to the hood, don't come back to their neighborhoods, don't see these things change, we've got to educate them on what their vote will mean and what we are trying to not only protect, but advance. So we've got to give that message and spend this next 350 some odd days, 360 odd days to the next election, ensuring we're educating and touching people and meeting them everywhere they are to let them know the power of their vote. Because we cannot just hope that the scare tactic of this is good, all our rights are going to be lost, is going to be enough to get that record voter turnout that we saw after, say, the Voting Rights Act in the 60s.
Well, I'll say this to folks. It's not a question of scaring them, but they are seeing the reality right now of what happens when you don't vote. And remember, Trump is going to be there 3 more years. So if you thought this last year has been crazy, the next 3 are going to be even crazier. Going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how MAGA is doing all their best to shut down black book authors in the Pentagon and all across the country. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network live here at the Hope Global Forum in Atlanta. Support the work that we do, folks. Ain't nobody else doing what we do every single day, 5 days a week. Speaking of Black America, if you want to contribute to us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here in the bottom left-hand corner. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Back in a moment.
Said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, and higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
What's up, y'all? This is Wendell Haskins, a.k.a. Win Hogan at the original T-Golf Classic. And you know I watch Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Global Forum in Atlanta right now. Pastor Jamal Bryant is speaking. We're going to take that for a couple of minutes, then come back and talk to my next guest.
From another Memphis. Give her some love, y'all. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Don't you look fabulous? Great to see you out here. Hello. Wow. This has grown to a marvelous event. We have an amazing evening planned for you tonight. So I hope you are ready. And don't leave early because we have Grammy-nominated performer, the one and only Miss Deborah Cox, here to perform for us later this evening. And we've got some other stars here waiting for you tonight as well. So let's get you started. Hard to agree on a lot of things these days. One thing we share is the need for a safe, affordable place to live, maybe even a wonderful place to own someday. Owning a home is still the number one way many Americans build wealth for.
All right, folks, we're going to go back into the room. We're going to be going back in and out, but let's talk about our next story. It's been a slow but gradual process for the MAGA movement to eliminate not just laws, but they also want to attack the education. Now, remember, if you get rid of the information, then you could truly impact people. Axios published an article titled "America Stares Down the Erasure of Black History and Progress," which examines the unprecedented rollback of civil rights advancements. Managing editor Delano Massey joins us from Atlanta. Delano, glad to have you here. And just take folks through how widespread this is. I've been saying for months that MAGA wants to defund Black America, that they're attacking every aspect of Black America. Walk folks through what you laid out in your story.
Yeah, Roland, thank you for having me on to have the opportunity to talk about this. This is something that I think a lot of people have been watching since the beginning of this year, probably in the last 8 months. But Onyx Impact actually was able to quantify it, and they took the things that we might have been talking about anecdotally, and they put this all in one place. So we were able to see that there are certainly cuts that have been happening to HBCUs and minority institutions to the tune of $3.4 billion, and it breaks down in different things, including research and data sets. So what they looked at was some of the cuts that were made to sickle cell, and as you know, that disproportionately affects Black people. We also noted in there that, Black maternity, mortality, Black men in cancer research. So those were some of the things that were eliminated. 591 authors that were mostly Black. And you have people like Toni Morrison or Ibram, whose books have been routinely listed as being blackballed or being on those lists, and to a record number of books that have been banned. Looking at minority businesses and the effects of unemployment, especially as it pertains to Black women. So what we tried to do is look at this full report and then break that down so that people could really understand the things that have happened systemically over the last several months.
And now, one of the things that really jumps out, again, the attacks on books, education, what's happening in the Pentagon, how they've been getting rid of all of these Black book authors. And again, I keep saying, I go back to George Floyd, the death of George Floyd. And they said we're going to attack Black Lives Matter in 2021. It was woke in 2022. It was CRT. 2023, it was woke. 2024 is DEI. And so what you are seeing this constant attack on Blackness in every aspect whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, this is ultimately what the researchers with Onyx Impact had discovered. Some of the things that we know sort of anecdotally that have been happening, the push to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and programming, whether it was in the schools, whether it was in federal businesses, the museums, et cetera. They were able to basically to pinpoint that some of this has been the weaponization of DEI, similar to woke, and as you mentioned, critical race theory or CRT. Using, this as a political chip and basically making people believe that this is it's a dirty thing, or there's an unfair advantage that actually comes with this.
And that was actually one of the things that the White House had pointed out when I reached out to them on this article. They feel as though they've been doing a number of things that have actually leveled the playing field and eliminated an unfair advantage that they perceive DEI has given, especially as it pertains to minorities.
So when you look at this and your story sort of lays it out, and I keep just yelling for people, this is massive. This is comprehensive. This is not just, one or two things. This is a wholesale attack on Black America.
Yeah. If one of the researchers that was involved in this was Maya Wiley of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. They also released a poll last month that basically taps into people's emotions and how they're feeling in this particular moment. That over 57% of people, I believe, think that there's a chance for there to be a civil war, that people feel like that this idea that there is reverse discrimination, that's actually not really true, right? There are things that I think that researchers and historians would say that there is a very systemic and a targeted approach to a lot of this that dismantles a lot of this infrastructure or the scaffolding that was created, especially during the civil rights movement, where you had some progress and it eliminates some of the things that we saw even, in an aggressive manner. We did a story earlier this year. You mentioned George Floyd, but after, we're looking at this 5 years later, was this actually a reckoning or was this more a reaction to a particular moment in the racial unrest that we saw? A lot of the things that happened in that time frame, including some of the companies, Fortune 500 companies, a lot of them have already eliminated some of this, and we saw that over the last couple of years. So certainly the researchers and the historians feel like this is certainly a moment where it is very intentional and it is targeted, and that's exactly what the Onyx Impact Report puts out there.
Questions from a panel. Cameron, you first. Cameron, turn your mic on. Cameron, turn your mic on.
Good.
I don't know why I gotta
you,
keep
Roland.
reminding all y'all. Damn.
Later, man. It's good seeing you, man, and good to read your story. Like I said, your story was eye-opening and caused me to kind of even continue to dive a little bit deeper into some of this. But the most important thing I think that you touched upon was the erasure and the removal of so much data. And I think what people don't realize is that when they hear reports about how Black progress may be stopped, when you start talking about the sickle cell and all the different health reporting, so much data is being taken off these websites. And I think you mentioned in the report, not all of it has been replaced. Did any of your reporting come out like, is there any recourse for organization and watchdog groups and so many others to be able to get back the data on the reporting of, I would say, the overall state of Black folks, of Black economics, Black health, all those different things? Like, what do we do to be able to capture that data and make sure we're able to, it's put back out there for the public?
Yeah, I think that's part of the challenge, right? This is the concern that certainly the researchers have, because if that data is not there, then it's almost like it didn't exist, and it also it makes it a whole lot more challenging to be able to find remedies to certain issues, right? Like sickle cell or maternal health. This is like one of the greatest concerns, especially with the reporting and the people that I talk to, just not really knowing what this full impact is going to be of all of these different cuts. And there are some things that the media attention certainly helps to reverse course. And we saw that with some of the history that was mentioned on there. We saw Arlington Cemetery being one of the places where they removed some of the history, whether it was Jackie Robinson and others. Like, we wanted to, the media has put more of a focus on that. And sometimes I think that's maybe the greatest recourse. Somebody who hears about it can actually take action and figure out a way that they can solve it. But, it's certainly not going to come from the federal government at the moment that they've decided that they've eliminated that funding.
Thelma. Thelma, is your mic on? Man, y'all gonna keep these microphones on. I keep telling
We millennials. We millennials. We only...
Hey, I don't want, listen, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now.
What's that mean?
Hey, now I'm gonna tell you right now. Henry, remember this. We were in Atlanta, and that was a judge here, and she had a staffer who was millennial, and she was like, Judge, why you always best dog a millennial? Because y'all do millennial shit.
Yeah.
So millennials and Gen Z, listen, damn it, I'm Gen X, and turn the damn microphone on. Now go ahead and ask your question, Delano.
Hi, Delano. One of the questions that I have, because as of recent, I have been diving more into the history of our people as far as in the legal aspect of it all. I know there's a location, one specific, the Equal Justice Initiative Museum, that when I went, it blew my mind. And I've been back more than one time. And I was just mind blown because a lot of the history that was in there, I didn't see that in the school system. I didn't see that taught to us when, of course, we have our traditional Black History Month. And I was embarrassed. I was like, I don't know my history the way that I thought that I did. So with that, do you think with locations such as Equal Justice Initiative or any other organization can be utilized to retain such sensitive data that is going to be needed based on the destruction of this administration that got 3 more years? And I know in 3 more years, it can wipe out everything.
You know, there's I think a very wise person once said to me that innovation sometimes comes from necessity. And what we know in this particular moment, and some of the people that I've talked to, certainly some of the civil rights organization leaders and others, you mentioned that museum in Atlanta. I certainly think that the Museum on Civil and Human Rights is great. It just reopened recently and they renovated it. I think there are a lot of entities and also people who understand the importance of doing the work and making sure that we capture it, making sure that we capture our history, and that we're able to sort of retell our history. Because one thing that's clear throughout the course of history is that ultimately it winds up being left to each generation to figure out how they're going to retell some of these stories. Because even in the case of news and the media, it is harder in a lot of ways to get those stories told, which was one of the things that was supposed to have been an outcome of the 2020 reckoning, if you will. And so being able to actually be the ones to tell the story and to pass that down, I mean, ultimately, that's why you have griots and people who pass that information down generationally. But there are museums that are here. We have people who are trying to conduct this work and trying to capture a lot of this information right now because they know the importance, and they're also very much worried about the very real possibility that information might not be available.
All right, then. Well, listen, our whole point here is to inform folk, let them know what's going on so they can be aware. And I'm telling you, I need our people to realize they cannot be asleep at any of this. And so, Delano, great reporting there. Folks, go to Axios.com to check out Delano's report. Also, we'll link to Keenan. You know you're watching. We'll be sure to put a link to Delano's story on BlackStarNetwork.com. And so, folks, if you go to BlackStarNetwork.com, you'll be able to see Delano's story, click through it to actually read his story. Delano, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Folks, I keep telling y'all the right wing wants America to be white. That is their focus. My book is White Fear. When we come back, I'm going to show you what a commentator on Fox News said. Well, basically what she's saying is, if y'all ain't white, y'all ain't right, and we don't want you in our country. Yeah, I'm going to show that for y'all when we come back. Also, Alina Habba, you know, Trump's dumbass attorney. Well, guess what? The appeals court rules she should never have been appointed a U.S. attorney. I'll tell you about that. Lots more to break down as we are live here at the Hope Global Forum 2025 in Atlanta. This is outside here in the hallway. Give me a shot of what's happening inside the room where the program has started. We have a concurrent live stream happening on the Black Star Network right now. And so you can also see the broadcast as well. And so we'll have some of that when we come back right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Our legal roundtable is back in session as we look at yet another potential landmark case being considered by the United States Supreme Court. This one is called 303 Creative versus Alennis, and may be the most important and far-reaching First Amendment, that is freedom of speech, case of our time. It could, depending on how the court rules, open the door for a return of Jim Crow segregation laws. It's true.
If you say we can discriminate against one, you're saying we can discriminate against all.
That's on the next Black Table. Don't miss it. Right here on the Black Star Network.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Jerry Johnson from Harlem on Prime, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
Folks, we're back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go live into Global Hope Forum. Let's hear some of what this conversation is taking place on the main stage.
Whether you have a big staff or a big budget, or you're just starting out.
Yeah, I don't think many people knew that you could do that, because I think a lot of us look at like a Matterport or something, and we think that you need to hire somebody also to help. I tease this, like I know we are all maybe a little bit tired of talking about AI, generic AI. So I really want you to be specific with me in this next section, which is where you see it actually measurably improving the experience for home buying, for finding somebody, for finding homes.
Yeah, I think you'll see it show up in the cracks of all the things you're already doing, is kind of the way I think about it. Of course, AI is something we go to ChatGPT or we go to Google Gemini and we ask it questions in new ways. We're all going to do that. Hopefully it will answer more questions than we can answer today. But it already exists in generating the listings I talked about. It exists in the agent software that all of our agents are using. We have more than 100,000 agents that use our agent software. It's a software system called Follow Boss. No one who's not a real estate agent would ever know that software system. But 100,000 agents every month are using it to respond to clients. It summarizes every one of their calls now. It summarizes their history so they don't forget things. It reminds them of appointments, and it schedules appointments for them. So it's making them more efficient. It's making them do a better job, because who wants to spend their day on a checklist? They want to spend their day consulting with clients, doing research for clients, helping clients prepare offers. So that's live today, and many buyers, sellers, renters would never see it, but it's powering the real estate experience right now.
And I imagine that as this improves, this is what you talked about earlier, which is you see the relationship between Zillow, the platform, and the agents getting closer and closer, strengthening that through technology.
If you ask any real estate agent, do they want to spend their time on a checklist in software? Or do they want to spend their time talking to their customers, learning what they want, trying to win an offer, trying to win a negotiation? They're going to pick the latter. right? Every one of them. So if we can build software that does the former, that does the busy work, they get to do the people work.
So with AI, there's also concern about the algorithms. Is it biased? Is the data clean?
Yeah.
When you're building these tools and you're using these tools in your platform, how are you ensuring that this is all being done fairly, equitably?
It's really important to build AI responsibly. I would make that statement broadly, but I'll definitely make that statement for real estate. And we've learned that in working with a lot of the big players in AI from the beginning. Early on, we worked with OpenAI and Google on integrations and helping them answer real estate questions to show them how quickly you could ask an LLM a question that would answer with a fair housing violation. It would answer with something that just violates fair housing laws because it hadn't been trained. And so we built a trainer, effectively a fair housing classifier that we use, that we give to everyone to use. It's open source. So you can train a model to say, I can't answer that question, or here's the only way I can answer that question, to help make sure the technology does the right thing. It's just like a simple example of how, as you develop these tools that are moving so fast, that yes, we need to have a little bit of regulation. We need to make sure we can build responsibly, but we have to do it so that we can keep innovating. And you have to balance those things.
Well, one thing that you've said in the past, which I think is the through line.
All right, folks, if you want to see the live stream, simply go to Black Star Network. Our app, also go to our YouTube channel. All right, folks, I have been telling y'all that white folks in this country about white fear. They cannot handle the browning of America. So this was a segment on Fox News. And look, that's like king of the white folks, all right? And so check this out. They question whether certain cultures actually belong in America at all. So commentator Kaylee McGee White. Oh, that's a great last name, Kaylee McGee White. Here we go. She said it's asinine that people can't openly claim some cultures are, quote, quite literally incompatible. All right, so here's the video.
We do not have any obligation whatsoever to anyone to allow them entry into our country and to all of the benefits that offers. We don't have any obligation to do that. And quite frankly, it's asinine that we can't have a realistic policy conversation about how certain cultures are quite literally incompatible with ours. It should be okay to say that. And more importantly, it should be okay to base our immigration policy on that. So I'm glad that President Trump is taking some steps in that direction because it is a long time coming.
All right, so let me unpack that, all right? So what you're now seeing, you're seeing this in the United States, and you're seeing this, the same white folks in European countries. It's now becoming a reality to them that they stop screwing and they stop having kids, and you cannot have a future if you don't have people. So what is the most populous and the fastest growing continent? It's Africa. Okay, average age is 17. All right, so when you're talking about the future, where do you think people are going to be coming from? So Elon Musk is constantly tweeting about the birth rates, the falling birth rates. He is flat out infatuated with the falling birth rates. Why? Because it's white people. White people in America stop screwing. They stop having kids. White people in Germany, white people in Italy, white people in Finland, white people in Ireland, white people in England. You can go all across Europe, these Western nations, and they stop screwing. So now they're freaking the hell out. They're freaking out because of black people. They're freaking out because of African immigrants. They're freaking out because of Latinos. And so that's what you're seeing. And so I need people to understand the attacks that you're seeing in America right now, you're seeing happening all across the globe, because right now, 2/3 of the world we've known for decades, 2/3 of the world are people of color. But now, that was fine when the Asians were in their countries and the Africans were in their countries, Latinos were in their country. The problem now is you cannot have a future if you do not have people. I've done this segment way too many times. Y'all, it's real simple. It's very simple. And that is this here. So let me just break it down to you. Let's say right now you got a family. Mom and daddy had 8 kids. Let's say those 8 kids have 4 of those kids don't have any kids. That means that only 4 of their kids have children. Let's say they have 2 each. So you go from 8 children to having
4 kids having 2 each. That's now 8. But let's say 6 of those kids choose not to have any children. Well, guess what? Your bloodline is going to actually decline, because if you have a decreased birth rate, you're not going to have a family lineage. It's the exact same thing. In this country, you have to have people in order for you to continue. So when you look at a city or a town, a shrinking population, that means people move. Why is the Midwest of the country massive amounts of land and few people? Because you no longer have manufacturing jobs in those places. So if you grew up with a manufacturing plant in your small town of Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, those Rust Belt states, now all of a sudden, manufacturing plant leaves. If you're a kid in that particular town, you ain't staying in your town because ain't no jobs in your town. So you're going to move somewhere else. What then happens? You're not replacing the population. All right? Maybe a lot of y'all don't understand. Let me explain it to you from a church. When you actually run into a preacher, and a preacher says, oh, I have 10,000 members. Nah, that's not really how real preachers count their population. A real preacher doesn't count individuals. A real preacher counts families. Families mean future growth. And so when a preacher says we have 2,500 families, what then happens? Mom, dad, at a church, they have kids. Kids are Christian in that particular church. What do they have? They have graduations. They go to college. They get married. All those things that happen typically in that particular church. Well, if you're transient, and all of a sudden, if you had 2,000 families, or 1,000 families, or 500 families, or 200 families, now 5 years later, you have, let's say your small church, you got 200 families. Let's say 5 years later, you now have 160 families. Guess what goes down? Tithing goes down, volunteer goes down, workers go down. And so if you start decreasing the number of families, you're no longer going to have a church in 10, 20, 30 years. The same thing happens with population. So what these crazy deranged MAGA white folks, they are upset because what they want, they say, oh no, we want people like ourselves. So Donald Trump, he wants white people imported. That's why he's targeting white South Africans. They didn't go to the G20, so we're not going to the G20 because the South African president talked bad about us. No, you called them shithole countries, and so that's what you did. So you need to understand what's going on here. I need y'all to listen to the language of these right-wing conservatives. They are speaking whiteness, and that's what this segment was all about. Thelma, I keep trying to get our people to understand this, and that's why these attacks, like when I listen to these dumbass FBA people who attack black immigrants, not realizing 10% of black population in America are black immigrants. And so for us to be sounding like them on immigration is pretty stupid, because that's literally the future population. It's coming from African nations. So we're idiotic, trashy folk who look like us, and we're sounding like these crazy, racist, white MAGA folks.
Listen, the one thing that I picked up on her whole conversation is the fact that they don't like each other. That's the reason why they haven't continued with their lineage to grow, and now they're behind and they're looking like, oh, we got to deport all of the immigrants because if we don't, then we're going to be outnumbered. Y'all were outnumbered when y'all came over here and stole this land. Y'all were outnumbered when y'all stole us. Y'all have been stealing since the inception of you all coming over here to steal land, and y'all are concerned about the individuals that y'all stole labor, stole body parts, stole human life from taking over. We don't care, because if we started telling y'all that y'all need to be deported because y'all not really supposed to be here anyway, and y'all have no legitimacy here anyway. So if we really compare who's supposed to be in here, who don't, and who actually built this country on their backs, then they will be shipped out, not even with first class. They need to be shipped out the way that they came, in the thieves that they are.
I mean, Cameron, the reason that's hilarious, there was a clip I saw of Alina Habba, and she was going off on television. Man, I should have pulled that clip. She was going off. Oh, here it is. She's been railing about safe harbor and bragging that, quote, America is America because we protect our own. This heifer's parents fled to America from Iran. I mean, it's amazing. You take Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's own family says, well, if there was no immigration, he could not have been born here, and he would have been born somewhere else. It's amazing to listen to these people. When I was debating Patrick Bet-David, that crazy conservative, he's from Iran. He's talking about same thing. And I'm like, take your ass back to your country. It's amazing how these folks, like even some of the Latino voters, voted for a Trump immigration crackdown. I'm like, wait a minute. So you crossed illegally, but now you good, but now you want to send other folks back. So it's amazing listening to it. But really, when you hear these white folks say it, their whole deal is they want America to remain pure, to remain white. They want blonde hair, blue eyes. That's what they want. And everything about their agenda is about whiteness. And that is the agenda of MAGA, of Trump, and today's Republican Party. And that's why they have no problem with Nick Fuentes. That's why they have no problem with racists, because they know those are their voters.
The great American experiment, the democratic experiment, this country and how we were set up and how we have evolved has never really been seen in modern civilization before. And I think it is built with its ugly past of like I said, erasure of the Native Americans as well as slavery has still continue to evolve, and our strength is it has been in our diversity of this country from its inception to now. When we sit here and on other segments of other shows, you talk about how our education system is becoming unaffordable, or we're dumbing our kids down and not as many people are getting educated. Where do you think the minds of the future are going to come on to power our next great American innovations, power our next great American companies? We're needing those H-1B visas to source talent from all over the world. Where do you think the diversity in our food, our culture, our language, so much of the texture, our entertainment, and so many of the great ideas, people flee to America because they think this is a place they can come and they can have that right mix of people, the right mix of laws, the right mix of protections to be able to build the next great American company that further strengthens our power as a country and for us. So I think this is, when I hear such asinine kind of comments like that about shutting our borders, where they're very overtly saying things like, we don't want black and brown folks, we don't want people from these other countries, even though that's where some of the smartest folks may come from. That's where some of the hardest working people that come from, and those that have built the texture of every city, every rural, every state in the union. It's both scary, but it's something that every true American, whether you are born here, whether you are naturalized, whether you are here on a visa, and this is just the country that is you have now made home, our diversity is our strength. And I know they see that power dwindling, and they see this is no longer this is no longer as white of an America as it used to be. But I do believe that there are so many folks that see the power in our diversity, and really believe those lines that are on the Statue of Liberty that say, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. We've got to continue to immigrate some of the best and folks from all over the world to this great country of America.
But the whole key here, Thelma, is I want our people to understand that this is policy. This is their agenda. And so we cannot be participants in the white supremacist ideology that these folks are advancing and advocating. And it's some black folks who are sounding just like these crazy-ass white folks.
Listen, it always is that one or that few that is going to go against the grain and do what they see, quote unquote, their masters do, and participate in the foolery of it all. And I'll be looking like, Did your ancestors come to you last night to remind you how the hell you got here and what the hell they went through in order for you to even be here, to have a voice, to be able to talk so reckless that you are and be irresponsible? It bothers me to see our own people think that we are still not a part of the damn struggle. The reason why they are going on this rampage is because their fears are being seen and being put out in front of their faces to actually see digitally that, oh shit, like our worst fears of the brown people utilizing their skills, the ones that we used to utilize for free and we used to try to keep them from being able to flourish, is coming, and it's coming in the masses. And to see our own people sit up here and participate, and I'm like, are you did you take your medicine? Because you cannot be on the same damn planet, and the planet that the reason why we are in this position to have the power that we do have is because we come from a lineage that had to fight so fucking hard. And to see you trying to participate, or no, not trying, but participating in the bullshit of it all, we gonna ship you out. If you want to go with them, you can go with them. But as far as the ones that we got to fight for to maintain the fact that we are here for a reason and we are not going anywhere, no, we can't have any cracks. And these cracks in the ceiling is causing the roaches to come in. And I ain't talking about us.
Absolutely. All right, folks, 30 years ago, one D Magazine article posed the question, Fort Worth still hasn't answered who really runs the city and what is the Fort Worth way anyway. Well, the 817 podcast sat down with a journalist to put that phrase on the map, Katie Sherrod, longtime journalist, and she talked about how power works in Fort Worth was changed since the 90s and what it's going to take to change it now. But here's the deal. I want y'all to listen to what she says about race and whiteness and what happens, how we got to make white folk comfortable in discussing race. Check this out.
We have to go back to our history. Texas is a state. We fought for independence, not out of some grand thing like the Declaration of Independence, was because we wanted to keep on owning slaves. Mexico was going to outlaw slavery, and we didn't like that. We wanted to keep owning other human beings, and so we had a war, and we won our independence so we could do that. So white supremacist ideology is embedded in the DNA of this state, and it is embedded in the DNA of this city, and we kid ourselves if we think it's not. Yeah. It's embedded in white people's DNA. I can say I'm not racist all day long, but that's bull, because the world I grew up in layered that in me, and it's a daily fight for me to remember that, acknowledge it, and try to overcome it, because it's a problem for me. I do not mind being made uncomfortable by that. But I would say at the heart of it, the base of the Fort Worth Way is let's not make rich white people uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Please do not make rich white people uncomfortable. Yeah. Early on, they had a good gig going because they were mentoring younger people and younger generations, and they got to pick which people that look like you got into the room. Well, that was done very carefully. And that the Black community and the Hispanic community weren't stupid. They knew if they were going to get into the room, they had to be really, really smart about it. And they were, and they did, and they made some amazing changes. So I always resist any effort to say, well, they just gave up. They never gave up. They haven't given up to this day. The persistence is what amazes me. The fact that they haven't shot us all kind of amazes me. But the persistence and the resilience of those communities are something that everyone should honor and emulate. I just think that niceness is the curse of this city.
Thelma, first of all, Katie nails it. First of all, she lays out the history when she says, wait a minute, how did this state actually come about? Texas independence was about slavery. They don't want to discuss that. the Texas governor, the lieutenant governor, they don't want to focus on that. But again, the whole point about making white folks comfortable dealing with race. What we're facing now, everything now, and I keep telling everybody, the history of Black America, a period of Black success, always talk about white backlash. These white folks have been pissed off because of what happened after George Floyd. They have been angry that there was a consciousness that was raised. They were angry that white folks are being called into account. That's why they're making these videos. Don't blame us. We didn't do this here. That's what we're seeing right here. And we need to understand what we're up against. These people are playing for keeps, and so they want to attack everything, and that's why they're attacking Black books and Black professors, attacking Black educators and Black historians and Black history.
Listen, Fort Worth has a deep-rooted history of discrimination, racism, and it is still present to this day. Right now, Fort Worth, out of the DFW and probably out of the whole state of Texas, has the most discrimination or racial payouts through HR because it is so it's just massive. They're so comfortable with discriminating and using their whiteness to try to oppress individuals who we free. How you gonna try to oppress somebody in a workplace and think that it is okay? It's so bad in Fort Worth that they had to go and hire a independent investigation organization to remove them from having to investigate, to remove any impartiality that was very clear. So when I look at Fort Worth as a whole, and being someone that has experienced that as a Black educated woman while I was a municipal court judge, and seeing that Black women or Black and browns are discriminated the most, and I never thought that was going to be the case until becoming a part of the line that they cross. And when you don't allow them to cross that line, like she said, play nice. I don't fucking play nice with these people because one, I got one life to live, and I'm not gonna let you live my life by trying to tell me what I can and cannot do with my educated Black self. So to see that conversation that she had, and also to know that Fort Worth is still walking that line, and they're gonna continue to walk that line, and what she said, they're upset. They're even more angry now because they're seeing the rise of the individuals being empowered to remove the bullshit that they're seeing after being bamboozled by individuals that were supposed to help. So I don't know if Fort Worth ever is gonna have a line that they don't fucking cross when we're talking about this particular issue, because it's bad, and even the minorities participate in that bullshit.
Well, Cameron, look, I worked at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, my second job out of college, and I know exactly what Thelma was talking about. And in fact, people need to understand, we've had this show for 7 years, and the year before we started this show is when you had the sister who was trying to vote, who did not vote. The vote was not cast, and they have still been trying to put that sister in prison, Crystal Mason, the last 8 years. The district attorney there in Fort Worth, and I've been saying to Black folks in Fort Worth, the rallying cry in Fort Worth for every Black person should be, take this racist white man out. In fact, the white Tarrant County judge, they gerrymandered the seat. They got rid of Elisa Simmons because they felt that she was too mouthy a Black woman. And so it was 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats. They changed the map now. It's going to be 4-1, again, attacking that sister. And so what we have to understand is, and again, I think for all these people, the illusion of inclusion is real. And I think what has happened is, and again, I call myself a post-civil rights movement baby, because I look at the assassination of Dr. King really as the end of the Black freedom movement, the civil rights movement. And of course, remember, the modern movement began today, really began Friday, but 7 years ago. It was today when Rosa Parks was arrested on a bus in Montgomery. What we have to understand is what we are seeing. These folks, they don't want us in the room. And now you have a racist in the White House who has said it's all good. He has actual individuals who say they have a Nazi streak, individuals who have spoken at racist conferences, and they are still in his administration. There is an acceptance of racists by Trump, by the folks who are there, and they're saying it's all good. You can say what you want, do what you want, because we have your back. In fact, I just got this tweet here, Cameron. If you want to understand how crazy these people are, this actually, I got this text moment ago. This is Ken Delaney, and is the justice correspondent for MS Now. He said, in a surprising departure from decades of settled law, the Trump Justice Department is making the argument that the anti-discrimination provision of the 1964 Civil Rights Act doesn't apply to federal workers, according to a new lawsuit filed against it today. 1 out of 5 federal workers are black, Cameron. Again, whiteness on display.
And the worst part is they're not even hiding it. I think the more and more I hear from folks who are saying, trying to come up with other reasons and other ways to say what is happening is, oh, it's economic. Oh, it's protecting American values. Oh, it's this and it's that. And it is not just calling it for what it is. It is racism in multiple forms. I think we're coming to a reckoning. And I know me personally, I'm tired of having to be in places where it's on the oppressed to make the oppressors or the people, the beneficiaries of racism, to feel more comfortable about talking about it. I know it's not a comfortable conversation to have, whether you're white, black, Latino, anything, Asian, doesn't matter. But it is a reality of our system. It is a reality of our society. It is a reality of so many different people and people in power. I tend to argue, and I tend to be optimistic that I don't think most people here are racist, or I definitely don't think most white folks or folks in general are racist here in America. And most people want to see everybody be given a fair shot and do what we do to make it an even playing field. But that even playing field is going to mean they're going to have to invest in the folks who've been systematically left behind for hundreds of years. But I think this is just one more thing that we have to realize. If they're coming after like you said, those civil rights protections and saying they don't apply to the federal workforce, this is not only attacking black wealth, this is black economic power, black jobs, and black political power as well. They're looking to destabilize every different access point of power that black folks and non-white folks have throughout the entire country.
Folks, you want to understand this, and again, I need y'all, I keep telling y'all, pay attention to media. Pay attention to what you're hearing. So Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan, two assholes I really can't stand, they faced off over the claim that winning World War II, quote, destroyed Britain. Now, Morgan challenged Carlson's assertion that the UK fought the Germans without necessity and that immigration had ruined the country. But I need y'all to listen to what he's saying, because Tucker Carlson, again, who interviewed Nick Fuentes, Trump loves him, even though Carlson knows Trump is an idiot. This is one of the people that they're looking to. So if you listen to Tucker Carlson, if you listen to Megyn Kelly, if you listen to Clay Travis, if you listen to any one of those fools on Fox News, there's a consistent theme in terms of their whole white view. Check it out.
This was not a communist country, but I'm just saying Britain voluntarily joined the war. It was a war that you were not involved in and you got in. But my question is, why did it destroy Britain? I don't understand. As the victor nation.
It didn't destroy Britain.
Well, look outside.
Look outside.
We're in the city of London.
Hang on. There's Tower Bridge. It's the Tower of London. Magnificent
Well, it
office blocks
changed. It
here.
changed London.
Why do you look at this and see a wrecked country? I don't.
Well, I don't see an English country. So we're in the city of London now.
What do you mean there? What do you mean by that?
It's not. Well, people whose ancestors built Stonehenge are not here anymore. So the city of London is 36% white, and that's happened in the last, I don't know, 40 years.
But England is about 70% white.
England.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was
London's the capital city.
99% in 1945.
Okay, so we've evolved.
But you're on the way to becoming the minority in the country. So no one wants to say that. I think you can get arrested for saying that here.
Well, no,
that's not white supremacy. This is the indigenous population of the country.
Well, it's a statistical fact that I think by 2100, we will be a minority white country.
2063 as of today.
Well, I've read a bit later.
But these are dynamic numbers, so they change.
Yeah, but here's my question for you. So what?
Well, let me refer to the beginning of our conversation when you said that the people who live in a country define the character of that country. And then you said, yes, all the things for which we were famous and in which we had pride, like our stoicism, our concern for others, our tidiness, the cleanest country in the world now. It's pretty filthy. All those things change when you get new people moving there. You said that. I mean, you're the racist, not me. So I'm just using, I'm using the parameters that you set. I
did not say that was down to
you didn't say you didn't
white people coming to the country.
Well, that's who lives
here. I don't believe that.
No, but that's what you said.
I said there was creaking pressure on public services.
No.
From the increased population.
You also maybe foolishly admitted the truth. You could get arrested for this. So I know the stakes are high. But you said that when the people who live in a country change, so does the culture, which is like the most obvious. It's like when it rains out, it gets wet. That's not a controversial observation, but it's illegal here because it is true. And my only point is not against, I've already said, I like the Bangladeshis better than I like the liberal whites in your country. A lot more. They've never yelled at me. I'm not attacking them. I'm just saying the things that made Britain, Britain, England, England. Is there still an England? I have no idea. Those are going away because there are different people living here. And if you think that those are good things in the same way that the Swedes or the Chinese or the people in Burundi and Chad, they like their culture. It's their ancestors' culture. And now it's gone. And why can't we say that's bad?
Well, because you may think it's bad.
It's good?
I love living in a very multicultural
But you're rich. I mean, you're rich. And you go to the white parts of London, and they're exactly the same as they were when I was a child. I've been coming here for 50 years. They're exactly the same. What neighbor was saying is exactly the same.
Which do you think is a white part of London?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, that's a little test for you. Which area of London do you think is white?
The one I'm staying in right now. The one where my relatives live.
Where?
I'm not going to say.
No, you don't want to say because you know that I'll immediately say, come on, there's loads of non-white people living there. There's no
By the way, I'm not against non-whites.
There's no exclusively white area.
Okay.
There's not.
Lord, these white folks are a trip. Thelma, the look on your face.
Really? Forget global warming, forget climate change. The people coming in and migrating into a country that is non-white is running down the damn country. Are you fucking kidding me? If we're being really for real here, and if they really want the truth, some of the dirtiest people to me are them. They don't bath. They don't wash their damn hair. They don't wash their damn hands when they go in the damn bathroom, which is very disgusting. They don't know how to fucking clean. That's why they hire people to come clean for them because they go out and they fuck everything up. They are known as the fuck ups. If it was not for immigrants, they would perish. So for him to sit in his white privilege to try to reduce and say immigrants are and cultures are the reason that a country is dirty, sir, I'm looking at a piece of dirt right in front of me talk about other people being dirty. These white people have the fucking audacity. I would not eat from a closed can if it came from them without fucking inspecting it because they don't have proper fucking hygiene for one. But you want to talk about other people, other immigrants, and people from other cultures? Oh, hell no.
Cameron?
I'm not sure. I don't know how to follow that. But when I saw that, it just is remarkable that these kind of conversations, and Tucker Carlson is just saying that like right into a mic. I was like, does he realize the cameras are on? And I know he can probably speak that freely because he's in England and he's trying to make that false equivalency to that. And here's the time where I wouldn't think I'm over here. I couldn't have told you the day where I'd be avidly defending Piers Morgan's position on this, but for at least him to offer some level of saneness to the conversation, to understand that the diversity that has come to London and that has come to England and the United Kingdom has been a net good thing. But I think this just further points to understanding that like there are folks who have this belief. There are folks who are following the Tucker Carlsons and the Megyn Kellys of the world in hearing both their overt and subversive rhetoric. And this layered on top of all the different things that you see coming out of Stephen Miller, on top of layering what we just learned in the previous segment with Delano and his reporting on terms of the erasure of Black history, the erasure of Black books, the erasure of data on Black people and on non-white folks here in this country. This is just becoming a perfect storm of folks where I hope there is how we normally see a white lash after Black progress. I'm hoping this is the rally and beginning of a Black lash against this pushback, and for us to reclaim so much more of our power and to build a diverse coalition. This is something that is not just going to happen because Black people decide to stand up. This is all Americans are going to have to stand up and fight up against this.
Yeah.
Well, we know a bunch of those people are absolutely afraid to stand up and fight, and that's how that goes. All right, y'all, got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Our Black and Missing. Then we're going to talk about comedy in this day and age where people are so damn scared, and it's just always something. It's always something crazy going on. Plus, we come back. Georgia, a Black teen activist. He in trouble for trying to hook up with a 14-year-old. I'll tell you about it when we come back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, and higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Our legal roundtable is back in session as we look at yet another potential landmark case being considered by the United States Supreme Court. This one is called 303 Creative versus Alennis, and may be the most important and far-reaching First Amendment, that is freedom of speech, case of our time. It could, depending on how the court rules, open the door for a return of Jim Crow segregation laws. It's true.
If you say we can discriminate against one, you're saying we can discriminate against all.
That's on the next Black Table. Don't miss it. Right here on the Black Star Network.
Hey, this is Motown recording artist Kim. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. That boy, he always unfiltered though. I ain't never known him to be filtered. Is there another way to experience Roland Martin than to be unfiltered? Of course he's unfiltered. Would you expect anything less? Watch what happens next.
Folks, Tyra Jones walked away from her New Orleans home on November 24th. The 17-year-old is 5 feet, 4 inches tall, weighs 150 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. Tyra was last seen wearing a pink and blue hoodie with gray tie-dye pants and beige Crocs. Anyone with information about Tyra Jones is urged to call the New Orleans 6th District detectives at 504-658-6060, 504-658-6060. Well, folks, in Georgia, a black activist has stepped down as the assistant secretary of the Georgia Republican Party. On Sunday, Chairman Josh McCoon announced that Jaquan Stembridge's resignation on social media. Now, McCoon didn't provide a reason for Stembridge's departure, but stated that the party would promptly work to fill the vacant position. He gave no explanation for Stembridge's resignation, but he was recently involved in a child sex predator sting operation where he allegedly attempted to hook up with a 14-year-old boy in Athens. As a video circulating on social media of Stembridge being caught in the act, watch this.
No, I don't. But I'm. Oh my God.
Are you 19 or are you 17?
I'm 17. I swear to God, I don't want my mom.
Okay. Then talk to me then. Don't lie to me. Are you 19 or are you 17?
I swear to God, on everything I live. Like, you can look at my
ID. Let me see the ID.
I don't have it. I'm for real.
Bruh, if you 19, just say it. Nigga, you'll get way more respect with me being honest.
I swear to God, oh my God. Look, come here. Can you look at my tag? I swear to God, I don't even have a car on my name. I swear to God. I swear to God. You can call my mom. I swear to God, I'm only 17. Just please.
Oh, bruh, where's your ID at?
I don't have it. Like, look, check my pockets. Do whatever you want.
You in college? What you?
I'm in college. I'm like, I skipped the grade. I swear to God.
Bruh, you're 19, bruh.
All right, I'm 17. I swear to God, my birthday's July 12th. I swear
July
to God.
12th what?
I'm 18. I'm 18.
Bro, why you lying to me, bro?
What I was doing,
why?
I swear to God, I wasn't trying.
College? What you?
I'm in college. I'm like, I skipped the grade. I swear to God.
Bruh, you're 19, bruh.
All right, I'm 17. I swear to God, my birthday's July 12th. I swear
July
to God.
12th what?
I'm 18. I'm 18.
Bro, why you lying to me, bro?
What I was doing, I swear to God, I wasn't trying to make a feel kid. I would never do something like that. I swear to God. I'm just...
Let me be 100. Let me be 100 to you, because nigga, you already know what that shit is wrong.
I know.
I already peeped your behavior, nigga, driving around trying to peep the scene.
Okay,
like, nigga, that shit ain't cool, nigga.
Right.
There ain't none of that shit going on in Athens, bro. Like, delete the profile, nigga, or whatever, nigga.
I do. I swear to God.
Apologize to Athens, though.
I apologize.
You gonna do that shit again?
I swear to God, I won't. I delete it. I play on everything I love. My mom, I swear to God.
All right.
The group that actually confronted him is called Street Sweepers TV. Now, in June, Stembridge was elected to the Georgia Republican Party's executive committee as the youngest member. The Georgia Republican Party did not address the video. No arrests or charges have been reported. That says a whole lot right there. First of all, everybody keep calling him a teen. Cameron, he ain't no teen. He's 19.
What is going on in these streets? Oh my goodness. Yeah, he is a grown up. He needs to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. If he, I wasn't unsure. I was unsure if that it was actually, or that was just a sting operation to try to catch those, child predators. But this is ridiculous, and this kind of just shows again the continued leadership or lack thereof, moral compass that exists throughout. I think so much of the Republican Party. They need to quickly denounce this person. They need to quickly make sure he resigning is the least he could do there. And you saw him with the dumbfound look on his face, like didn't know what he was doing, what he was trying to do. Trying to lie up a storm, swearing. Whenever somebody says, I swear on everything I love, you know they lying. That's just a little hint to the audience out there. If anybody says, I swear on everything I love, they lying. So, I'm glad he was kicked out, and hopefully he never has another political office or position again.
I tell you, Thelma, that video was crazy. No, I ain't gonna do it again. I'll do it.
And, you have, To Catch a Predator, a long-time TV show on NBC. And so a lot of these folks are now doing this on the digital side. And so talk about straight bust. And they were shooting him the whole time as he was circling. And again, he thought he was hooking up with a 14-year-old boy. Nah, they were waiting on him.
Listen, as a former prosecutor, this kind of case is a case that you want to have. Digital footprint of an individual making their admissions on video. So it's not a question of, hey, I didn't do this, I don't know what the hell going on. Literally, he put him on a pedestal and hung him out to fucking dry. Because, one, you ain't had no damn business on no damn app trying to meet with a child with your grown ass. So now I have a question. We need to see what the hell going on in your damn phone or on your computer, because if you did this so effortlessly, like, you definitely got a tendency to continue this behavior. Do you have other victims? Do you have other kids that you have actually been in contact with that you have gotten away with it? Because this ain't look like no amateur. He looked like a pro until the pro got caught. And now it's, oh, I'm 17. Lie. Oh no, I'm 18. Another lie. You are a grown ass man that got caught. And now we need to figure out who the hell are you and what the hell you're doing. And this is one of the things about the Republican Party. Even in their craziness, we are seeing so much of their fucking skeletons in this particular manner. The predators of the world coming out, and they're coming out in the fucking masses. And these people that think that just because you are black, that you are going to be, you're not going to have the same accountability because you are a part of the Republican Party. No, they are going to leave your ass out to dry. Rightfully so. But, sir, how many victims do you got? Because you out here willy-nilly going in this damn neighborhood, driving around to meet a child. No, he got to be investigated.
I absolutely agree. Hey, folks, the Federal Appeals Court has ruled that Alina Habba, former personal attorney to Donald Trump, has been serving unlawfully as a U.S. attorney for New Jersey. The three-judge panel of the Third Circuit agreed with the lower court's decision that the administration violated the Constitution when appointing Habba. The Constitution mandates that U.S. attorneys must be formally appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. The judges went further, warning that under the administration's interpretation, Habba could remain in that role indefinitely without ever being confirmed, effectively undermining the constitutional appointment process. This decision comes just days after another federal judge dismissed indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Those cases were brought by Lindsay Halligan, who was also ruled to be serving unlawfully as an interim U.S. attorney. As of now, it is unclear who will take over the New Jersey office. The Justice Department has options if it requests a review of the ruling by the full Third Circuit to take the matter directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. All right, folks, as we come back, let's talk about comedy in these interesting political times. We'll discuss that next. Plus, we'll jump back into the room here at the Hope Global Forum in 2025 here in Atlanta. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Are you ready for the holidays? This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking about all things anxiety and the holidays, whether it's performance anxiety, presence versus presence, making certain that everybody in your space understands the boundaries and how to respect your home. This week, we're talking about those things that will allow you to have a peaceful holiday season.
It really is not about perfection. It's really about, the house feeling warm and cozy and peaceful.
You don't have to like everybody, but what you can do is be cordial in those environments.
That's all this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
How you doing? My name is Mark Carey, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Deep into it, like pasteurized milk without the 2%. We getting deep. You want to turn that shit off? We're doing an interview, motherfucker.
Folks, we're here at Hope Global Forum 2025. Lots of things that are going on. This is the opening night. Let's go live into the main ballroom. Let's hear what they're saying on the main stage.
And that is what this is all about. It really is. And so what the modern day manifestation of the legacy of the work that we've done is the Student Managed Investment Fund. The students will call it SMIF. And the Student Managed Investment Fund, the university, this past year invested $1 million to allow us to actually invest real money. These students have been doing a phenomenal job.
Dean, I don't think they heard you. How much was the investment that Clark Atlanta University made?
$1 million.
Walking the talk.
Yes. So the university entrusted us with $1 million. And we have entrusted our students with actually investing these funds. To date, they have surpassed the markets. They will tell you their story accordingly. So this ties into one of our key areas of uplift, which is, again, the uplifting of communities. Every day, our students like Camara and Cheyenne live this. And this is why we are here to have a conversation with you and tell you what incredible work these young people are doing.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Camera. So why don't you first share with the audience what interests you to be a part of the Student Investment Fund, and what impact has it had on your life being a part of the program?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the first thing that I want to point out, of course, that this fund is $1 million, and it's $1 million real dollars. It's the first of its kind within the Atlanta University Center, so the conglomerate of schools of Clark Atlanta University.
All right, folks, we have a separate live stream going of what's happening there. We're going to be restreaming the whole conversation on the main stage as well. But let's talk comedy. So y'all know I love comedy. And so we're living in a whole different age now. It's not just what's happening on stages. It's not just stand-up. It's also what people are doing on social media as well. So there's a sister I've been following for quite some time. Absolutely keep me cracking up laughing on social media. Here is one of the videos that she posted.
Woo. Baby, this Airbnb or something? Where you got me at?
No, that's not an Airbnb, baby. This is one of my condos I own.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it for me to have something to sleep at when I come in the city.
Really?
Yeah, but this your place now.
Mine?
Yeah, for you and the baby.
For real?
I was going to take care of you, baby.
I thought you were just talking, because you know so many folk be talking, baby.
No, I'll set you up. You know, you got the aquarium right there, Centennial Park, the stadium.
This the stadium?
The stadium right there, yeah. I got you, baby. I got you. Got your bro bag. What's in your bro bag?
Oh, just little male stuff I need, like, you know what I mean? Ball wipes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Keep me fresh. You know what I mean?
Almost sound like a whole bag, but okay.
No. Oh, baby, why you saying stuff like that?
I'm just talking crap. I'm just messing with you, but you know what I'm saying?
Man,
you know, I'm gonna take care of you. Come on over here. Let me have you sit down.
Hey.
Come on, get comfortable.
Okay, comfortable.
I told you I was gonna take care of you and this baby. I'm a real woman. I'm a real woman. Yeah, I step up and take care of my responsibilities.
I ain't gonna lie.
I don't run from my responsibilities.
Okay.
I take care of that. You know what I'm saying?
Because you kind of
Just
talking the car.
right. You know what I'm saying? It's a secure building.
Yeah.
Secure parking deck.
For me and my kids.
Yeah, can't nobody even get on the elevator without going to the concierge.
Okay.
For you and our kid. This our baby.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
This our baby.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
So good school,
if it's a
private
girl,
school?
Woodward.
Baby, right. Crying,
that's over $30,000 a year right there. I got you.
You not playing. You coming strong with it.
I already got the baby. Listen, I already got the baby on the waiting list of creme de la creme.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right, folks, we're joined here by Janae Summers. What's happening?
Hey, how you doing?
So let's talk. Let's talk about how comedy has changed. And the point I'm making. So you look at how social media is now being used. You talk about these skits. Country Wayne has been doing crazy as well. And so people are now looking at comedy just totally different. And there are a lot of folks who are not doing the traditional route, not doing stand-up, not doing comedy clubs, who have really built up significant following on social.
Yes, it's really just that simple. And I'm actually on the Country Wayne skits. And he found me on social media. The guy that you see on there is a good friend of mine. His screen name is Scam Likely. So I started doing skits with him. He just hit me up one day. He was like, hey, you want to do skits? I'm like, sure. So the chemistry was just organic. We just jumped in and just kept it moving. And when I tell you, literally, it's like every other week we were just going viral. And it was amazing. It was fun. And like coming right off the pandemic, it was just something that I really needed, you know?
Well, and the thing that, again, I think what makes it so different, if you look at also what's happening now on the drama side, so with Isaac Hayes III on the fan base, how micro dramas have blown up. So the bottom line is, you take an hour comedy special, but the ability to be able to say, okay, I'm going to knock out this 2-minute, 3-minute video. That was like a part 4, so that meant there were 3 other parts to it. And so it allows for you to do more. And again, the public ain't all concerned about, look, we got 5, 6 cameras here. It's not all about that. It's really just, hey, that one camera, and what can make me fun, what can make me laugh in this moment. Just hold my phone. There you go.
Now, what we've learned is that people just like realness. They like something that they can just relate to. So literally, we just get there. We might have just a light idea, and it just grows. And just with our personalities, we just improv and just go. And you're right. And it creates a lot of attention. Like my boy, you see, it took him in a whole nother direction. He's Space God, the alien. I don't know if you saw that on social media. But it's a great way to get your craft out there and to get noticed without having to go through all the extra stuff and all the BS that you go through.
The thing for me is, and obviously I feel this way because of this show as well, is I ain't got to ask nobody. And so if you can shoot something, if the public like it, they reshare it, they repost it, and they're commenting on it, and then you go from there. And that to me is what I love. You're removing the gatekeepers.
Yes, because the gatekeepers are honestly unnecessary filters. They don't really know what the public wants to see. It's like you say, you just put it out there and they tell you what they like. And honestly, they like the stuff that the gatekeepers really don't like.
Right.
You know, so it's fun. And it's just...
And the flip side is, the public will tell you what they don't like.
Yes, they definitely will. They're not ashamed. They're not afraid or shy. They will tell you exactly what they don't like. They don't care about hurting your feelings. So when When I first came into this, I learned real quick that you got to have thick skin because they will eat you alive on here. But it's all fun still.
Now, when did your comedy journey start?
It started about almost 3 years ago. I was actually just at a point in my life where the relationship I was in was ending, and I just needed something different. And I just sat and I just meditated, and I just let the universe guide me, and this is where I ended up. Literally, right?
Now, what were you doing before?
I was working in medical supply. Just off-the-shelf aesthetics, shoulder brace, knee brace, back brace, just working in medical supply and only doing that part-time. I was really mainly a stay-at-home mom. That's it, basically.
And then how did this start? Like, what was the spark?
Like I said, the relationship ended, and then one day I just did a lip sync video, and it was a sound. I was like, I'm gonna do a video to it, and I got up and I did the video, and I didn't like it, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn the words. So I was doing what the young girls do, say every other word, and it just looked so stupid. And so I was like, I'm gonna learn the words, and so I learned the word, and it felt like therapy. And so I started doing lip sync videos, and that's how my page took off, and I just started growing like 2,000 followers a day. And then I met my boy who you saw me on screen with, and I started doing skits with him. Mm-hmm. And then more people called me to do skits. Like I said, ended up on the Country Wayne skits. I have a couple of movies that I'm supposed to be in. So it's just been just taking.
Well, and that to me, I think is a perfect example. We talk about how something organic can take off, and the public says, we like her. We think she's funny. And so it's not some manager, it's not some exec, it's not somebody else. It's them saying it. And so the validation is coming from the audience.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely coming from the audience. Even with the Country Wayne skits, I haven't been on those in a while, but they will still come to my page and want to know when I'm going to be back on it. They'll go on his page asking when am I going to come back. So they definitely let you know what it is that they want to see. It's not that Hollywood red tape. Like I can always go back to Tyler Perry. Like when he first wanted to do his show, they were trying to tell him how to do his show. He was like, no, I'm going to do it how I want to do it on my terms.
People forget, he had a development deal with ABC. Mm-hmm. This is before the TBS shows. And they were sending him notes. And they literally were sending him notes saying, hey, can you pull back on all the Jesus if you think it's too much faith talk? And he bounced.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, I like, you tell him that. So he bounced.
Because he's an actual creator. He's a producer. He's not just an actor. He creates his own craft. You can't tell somebody how to do their craft. You just can't. Not somebody at that level. He knew what level he was going to.
Right.
So I admire him for knowing where he was going. You know.
I saw a interview the other day, and the interview talked about how if you have 30 to 50,000 core followers, how you can build your career and really build a sustainable business model off of that. And so for you, how are you approaching that? Are you looking at this as Janae Inc. and now how do I now take this core? I'm going to use Country Wayne as an example. He was told, oh, you can't sell out venues. You're going to need a headliner to book it. But he built his following on social and was selling out his own venues and then funded his own movie. And that was all because he cultivated his following. Yes.
And you're right. You have to cultivate your following. Like I have a good, strong following. They're looking for my next projects. So right now I am in the process of basically just trying to figure out how to move forward in a way that it works for me and it works for them because I don't want to isolate my core following. I'm trying to pivot. They got so used to the lip sync. They love the lip sync, but it's like I'm not going to say I'm over it. I'll still do it here and there for those who want it.
It's just called going next level. That's all.
Yeah. So that I'm working on the next level, and right now I'm just first guide me and just trying to figure out the proper way to go. So I'm still honestly trying to figure that part out and just go about it the right way because I had too much other unnecessary experiences. So I just said, let me pull back and let the universe guide me because, you know, when you got other people in it, they want to try to direct you and tell you what you should do, what you can't do, and what you need to do, and what they want you to do. And I don't, you know.
Yeah, I don't know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that picture. I mean, and again, I think what people have to understand, again, the age that we're now living in terms of your ability to be able to control you and do what you want to do. And when you know that it's the right thing, when you know, then you say, you know what, I'm moving forward. I'm not sweating y'all. I ain't worried about y'all. That, to me, I think, is how people have to be approaching this. And what social now does, this is the first time, really, where creatives have a direct relationship with their fan base. So there are no middlemen, nobody's getting in the way. This is not where, well, if they wrote letters, if they called. No, you can go directly to them, sell directly to them, drive your product. My man Ali Sadiq, where he said, fine, y'all don't want to give me a comedy special, Netflix, I'm going to fund my own, put it on YouTube, and then build it from there.
Exactly. Now, I am working on writing my own movie, so I do plan on putting a movie on Tubi at some point.
Put it on what?
Tubi.
Okay.
Yes, so I am working on that. I'm working on the script on that right now.
But there's some other platforms other than Tubi. So again.
No, there are other platforms. But right now, that's the first goal.
It's the whole. I just think that where we are now, it is completely. It's completely changed the game for creatives. The only difference is what creatives now have to do is they have to be not just creatives, but business people.
Yes, definitely.
And see, that was always a thing. Folks like, well, they handle that. No.
Oh, yeah. In this creative space, you have to be a business person because those on the outside, they rely on you not being a business person. They rely on you not knowing. They rely on your ignorance. And I've experienced that a lot with people. They want you to not know.
Right.
Because it's so easy to take advantage and manipulate and, and they can do what they used to do back in the days. They get you to work for the pennies, while they make the money. But you just gotta know who you are and you gotta know your business.
Now, see, Thelma, you know this. So I first saw you with your videos that you were posting on social, and the same thing. Just share with the audience. When did you make the decision to say, "Hey, I'm gonna do my breakdowns my own way, my own creative way"?
Well, with the skits.
Oh, 1 second. I'm tossing the Thelma. I want to.
Out of nowhere, really, because the one thing that I had to learn is how to navigate as a lawyer through this space, because oftentimes we are afraid to come out in the public and actually talk about our experiences and educate people, because that's just the norm of this profession. So literally this summer, when I was having a conversation with Isaac was like, right now is the time for us to be utilizing our platforms, our voices, to spread necessary messages that resonate with our people. And if we don't do that, then we are doing a disservice. So the fact that I have the ability to articulate and relate to my audience is how I became more comfortable with saying, you know what, fuck the status quo. Right now is the time, because my people need to hear the information that I need to share with them so that they can be educated, so that they can be aware, so that they can go out and navigate in this new space that we're dealing with in this time. Because if we don't do it, then we're going to continue to fall behind the line instead of being ahead of the line.
Cameron, I'll ask you, same thing. I mean, obviously, you're not doing comedy, but the point is the ability to be able to communicate directly with the audience. And again, this puts more of the control in the hands of the creative.
It does. I mean, my entire career has been built on supporting and working with creatives across the industry. And shouts out to your guests, and I've seen some of her skits. My biggest encouragement to her is realizing that you've got to cultivate that audience, but also you need to pull them off of the platforms and make sure they're diversified across platforms and you have that information to connect to them directly. Because I think the next step in business and the next step in this entire creative economy is that direct connection to your fans, to your community, outside of any one platform. So if Meta decides to shadow ban you or your TikTok algorithms aren't popping that day, you still have a way to email, text, communicate, see live, and so your fans know where to find you. And I think that is the next evolution of this creator economy, especially for comedians and online content creators, is get it popping on whatever channel that you can and whatever social media platform, but then start to train your audience, start to really cultivate those relationships so you can move them and they can grow with you across multiple platforms. So then that really makes you invisible and really helps set your career up for the next level.
So, so what Cameron was just asking is, how are you taking your audience but moving them off of the platform? That way you're controlling the data. Are you creating your own email database, newsletter database, as opposed to relying on the platform for you to reach your audience? How are you diversifying the ability to be able to reach your audience?
Now, honestly, I just got a crew together to help me to diversify and come up off the platform. Because most people are like monetizing on TikTok and Facebook nowadays. And for me, I find it to not be as easy. So like right now I'm working on a website. Like I said, I do have a nice core out of the 257,000 followers that I have on Instagram. I'm going to say about maybe a third of them are a good, solid, loyal followers. So those people, when I tell you, when I go live on any other platform, they follow me around to those platforms. So I'm working on trying to pull them from that platform. Like I said, I have a website that I'm working on. I have a team to help me pivot my image to
you also establish your own product, your own merchandise, driving that to them as well?
Yes, that is something I'm going to establish as well.
Okay. All right, then. Well, it sounds great. Again, I really hope people understand how this game has changed. And I think the greatest thing that I'll leave it with is not waiting for someone else to tell you yes. And I think that's the biggest deal. So many people, they're waiting for someone to say, okay, now you can have a show. Now you can have a special. Now you can have this here. You don't have to wait on anybody giving you a yes or a no. You can actually tell yourself yes.
It's never going to happen if you wait for somebody else. It's never going to happen. You have to do it yourself.
That's it. Today we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Folks, let me thank, let's do this here. First of all, let me thank Thelma and Cameron for being on today's show. I certainly appreciate it. Folks, if you want to continue the conversation that's happening, Global Hope Forum, Henry, give me a shot what's happening in the main room. All you have to do is go to our alternate screen that we have going on. You can actually check it out. Give me a shot in the room. Give me a shot in the room. I'll talk over it. All right, so here's the deal. Tomorrow, we're going to be live at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We're live streaming what's happening there in the main room. In addition, we're going to have a series of interviews I'm doing tomorrow. We'll be airing that on tomorrow night's show as well. So lots happening here at 2025 Hope Global Forum. Glad to be back and sharing these stories with all of you. Folks, don't forget, support the work that we do by joining our Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to support our work, allows us to be able to travel around the country doing things like this here, going where the people are. If you want to give via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here at the bottom left-hand corner. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money ordered. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 0196. Be sure to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Of course, also be sure to get our Black Star Network swag. You see me right here wearing the shirt. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. Folks have been stopping me all around today. Come on back here. Thank you. Come back here. Come back here. Come back to me. Thank you very much. Folks have been stopping me constantly about the shirt here. So I've been telling them where to get it. You want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. You can get our hoodies, our T-shirts, crew necks, all that good stuff. Also, support the other black-owned businesses we have at shopblackstarnetwork.com. If you're looking for Christmas gifts, this is the best place to go. You're supporting black-owned companies, and so you see many of these companies at shopblackstarnetwork.com. And don't forget, download the app Fanbase. And if you want to contribute, they've raised $14 million as part of the Series A raise. $3 million left. The deadline is December 18th. We need to be talking about being investors and not just consumers. And so, download the app. For more information to invest, go to startengine.com/fanbase. Folks, that is it. As I said earlier, today is the 70th anniversary when Rosa Parks sat down on that bus in Montgomery. Thursday and Friday will be broadcasting live from Montgomery for the festivities happening there. That's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here from Operation Global Hope Forum, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla! There we go.